Is everybody ready?
Yes.
As I call the meeting to order. All right. Is our JNPSD will be the model district where every learner is valued and empowered to become a successful, contributing member of society. It's our mission to foster a culture of ownership and accountability through partnerships that create multiple pathways for success. Mr. Moore, please call the roll.
Dan Gray,
Here.
Ron McDaniel,
Present.
Lauren Martin,
Here.
Laura Walker,
Here.
Dina Tony,
Here.
Ava Coleman,
Here.
Jim Moore, here. Carl Estelle,
Here.
okay, Dr. Owen. Here. I put you on the list. Everybody's here.
All right, very good, sir. If you'll join me as we stand for a moment of silence, followed by the pledge. Mr. Daniel, will you lead us in the pledge, please?
Sir.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Good evening, everybody. First item we've got on our agenda is a couple special presentations. Dr. Owa, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Gray. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to ask Dr. Walker, Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum Instruction, to come forward for the special presentations.
Good evening.
Evening.
We have two presentations, Jacksonville High School and then athletics. So we will start off with Mrs. Biggs and then Coach Higginbotham will go next. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to share some data with you. This is NWA data or MAP data. And so what you have in front of you, these are things that we know. We know that, we use the NWA or MAP 3 times a year, once in September, so that sets our baseline. Again, in the middle of the year in February. So then we have a comparison to our September data, and then again at the end of the year. So those are things that we do. Now, what we know is that the majority of our scholars are behind in reading and in math. So they receive targeted intervention, and it's called WIN, which is what I need. So Mr. Williams has been very intentional about placing scholars based on their NWA scores. So that's how we intervene for our scholars. So the next thing, and I'm just going to kind of give an overview, you can read it there as far as how many scholars grew. We did show growth in both math and reading, excuse me. And in reading, it was 59% of those that were tested. And there's a breakdown as far as 93 scholars moved from below grade level to on grade level, 31 juniors, 29 sophomores, and 33 freshmen. Math test is given to 9th grade through 11th grade. So then in math, we had roughly 58% growth from September to February. So I do not want to be deceiving. I want to be transparent. When we say growth, that means they grew 1%, one point or better. So if I only grew 1 point, I'm included in this. If I grew 10 points, I'm included in this. So that's kind of where and then we have 47 scholars that moved from below grade level to on grade level, 12 juniors, 17 sophomores, and 18 freshmen. All right, so these are the things that we are celebrating. We are celebrating the number of scholars who met their growth growth goal. And when they meet their growth goal, that just keeps them on the same trajectory. That, you know, they're not moving towards anything. They're just continuing to climb where they are. So 110 scholars grew their score by double digits. 280 scholars at least double their growth score, and that's in reading. And in math, we had 48% that met their growth goal. 94 of those scholars grew their score by double digits, and then 257 at least double that growth goal. So as we look at this data, one of the things that we know we have to do is we have to not ask them to meet their growth goal, but exceed their growth goal, because then we move the needle even more as far as getting them on grade level and making a intentional impact. Does anyone have questions? Comments? Consideration? All right. That's it.
Good evening. Celebrate a little bit of our athletic success we've had this year in the classroom. We broke it down by sport. Our overall GPA for all our athletes was a 3.2, up from a 3.08 last year. Our focus last year was student improvement. We had an SIP program that we still currently have, but we feel like we've hammered coaches enough to show a focus in those areas. And next year, our focus is going to be the ACT and ACT prep. We've kind of come up with a worksheet. I'm going to try to open up here for you, kind of let you see where we're at. This will help prepare any of our scholar athletes that have a vision of going to play at the next level. Our coaches will keep a worksheet on every athlete we have in our program. Our athletic numbers are up. We had 440 participants this year, which was 38% of our school enrollment, compared to last year where it was 28.5, now about 29. We are excited of the impact it's had. Some of it is new athletes that participated in new sports with our wrestling program. We ended up with 25 scholars that participated, and 15 of those scholars were single sport athletes. So in that program alone, being a first year program for us, out of those 25, we had 5 that qualified for the state tournament. The state wrestling match that was held at ULR. 4 of them were female, 1 was a male, and out of those 5, 4 of them were single sport athletes. So we felt like we made an impact of getting other scholars involved in athletics, and that was one of the highlights of doing that this year for us. With this worksheet, what it will do is not just track the grades that will actually get them eligible, but we're going to focus on ACT and keeping up with where they're at, instead of having a scholar athlete come to us as a junior and the first time they take it is that junior year. So we're hoping with this worksheet it will help. I know it will help because we'll hold them accountable and make sure that as our 9th graders are being talked to about the importance of the ACT, we want to try to get them to take it at least twice a year for the ones that are really serious about it. And then we just want them all to participate in the program itself. So we're looking forward to seeing what kind of impact that will have on us next year as far as athletes that are taking the ACT.
Want to go back to the next slide?
Yes, ma'am. And so I've already spoken about the wrestling program right there, and it talks about the impact it had. Another thing I want us to talk about is we're hosting our first track meet at the new school. We're going to do a junior high track meet April the 9th. the day after the eclipse. So if we're all here, we'll have a track meet the next day. Feel free to come out and watch, and hopefully we have no hiccups. We're excited about that. We're going to run 7th, 8th, and 9th graders. Just kind of give us an idea of how it's going to work, so we can work towards trying to host our conference meeting in our high school the following year is our goal. I guess the last thing for athletic wise is we're going to focus on communication next year. We started an athletic website, and we've had it. We want to kind of make it to where it's a star when you compare it to the school districts around us. I listened to a guy's speech. That was an athletic director. He talked about kids that have moved into the Dallas area. He said one of the reasons that athletes chose their school was because of their athletic website. And so looking at the people around us, districts to the north and to the south, I feel like we've got some opportunity there. So this is something we're going to work extremely hard on this summer to improve it. I think we have a good athletic website, but I think we've got some avenues to grow it as well. So we're going to look at trying to make that better. We have started some of it now. We have an app. It's called Box Out. We kind of share it through our social media. And I just wanted to share a page that we created. To the left over there was our Titans in training, our basketball program. And then we highlighted our seniors for senior night for basketball and cheer when we hosted that event. And then we also put on there the first round of the state basketball tournament that our boys participated in. And we were excited about that as well. So athletics, we feel is going in the right direction. We're excited with what our plans are for next year as well. And we're looking forward to hosting the track meeting to see how it all unfolds for us. It'll be new for all of us. Any questions?
I have a question. In regards to the middle school sports programs, are we allowed as a district to add any funding towards those, or is that something that we're gonna have to raise funds separately?
We try to incorporate anything that they need to accommodate them, from either extra batting helmets that we may have for the varsity team, softballs, or catching gear. Coach Nations kind of started off with the girls program, and Coach Rupert was kind of with the guys playing sports. I know that anytime they bring me a need, I try to.
It's just convenient to we see a lot of like with trap shoot fundraising, with fundraising stuff, like there's several.
Trap, we don't do a whole lot for. We buy those guys uniforms, jerseys. It's really not a AAA sanctioned sport. We do let them fundraise by working the concession stand to try to offset some of their expenses. But
That's more than we've done in previous years. That we just started doing that last year, didn't we?
we bought jerseys, we buy their letters, and they letter in the event if they're a state runner-up or whatever, when they've had some scholars that have competed and won awards. We bought their awards for them as well.
If it's not a sanctioned,
AAA sport.
then we can't do anything for it.
I won't say we can't because we do.
Yeah, it's not that we cannot, but like for instance, trap, we have a grant for that. So we have a game and fish grant that the coach and I, I sign off on it, and it comes through the district, but he uses that for the different supplies that they need. And then Coach Hick has, also added funding and support to it as well. And so it really depends, like Coach Hick said, the requests that we receive. And so, and if the funding is there, because you can imagine with the size of the athletic program that we have, there's a lot of requests. And so Coach Hick and Coach Campbell have to sort through them and rank them based on priorities. So, and in the need, for example, when there are needs for helmets, that's a safety concern. And so we have to purchase a lot of those. And that's one of the things that we've discussed. But coaches can always make requests.
Yeah, I think it's all important for all ages. I think athletics is not as much as education, but it can be for some kids as an
it's just as
to get
important.
involved and be a part of something more than take as much as that they didn't know, so.
Yeah, we definitely agree. And I was going to brag on Coach Hick, so if you all don't mind, that's one of the things that we talked about. We started talking about it last year, Coach Hick and I, about the importance of increasing our athletic program because we know that students who are engaged in extracurricular activities, they have more positive experiences in the classroom. And so that was one of the goals he set forth, hence the reason why we have the wrestling program. And we actually, our young people have performed exceptionally well in the wrestling program. So he constantly looks at things when it comes to athletic program of how we can continue to enhance it, and not just for our student athletes on the field or on the court, but outside. Hence the ACT prep courses that he has in place.
Just the average GPA of all the athletes, we need more of them to be involved in athletics, so that's the average. That's a great average.
Make them accountable too, and not doing anything they've already done.
And not just athletics, he helps with like band and all the
Extracurricular activities.
So, yeah.
We do hope our track team this year exceeds, our goal is 25 varsity girls and 25 varsity males is our goal. Last year we were in the 20 range, and so we're hoping to exceed it.
Maybe if they don't have to run so much.
Yeah.
That's part of track.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank y'all.
I would just like to share that Dr. O is always tasking us to be proactive as a district. And so he has tasked the IT curriculum team and for us to formulate a community reps, scholars, and teachers to be a part of developing a policy centered around artificial intelligence, which we call AI. It's already changing the landscape of how teachers teach, how scholars learn. So we are having to look at this policy, and we've noticed that a lot of other districts are also looking. So we want to be on the cutting edge and start working to develop a policy. And when we develop this policy, it's going to help us navigate any ethical issues that may come up surrounding how students research, how teachers use this informational tool. And so we also want to level the playing field because this is how scholars learn. This is a tool that they use, and so we want to maximize that tool, but help them to be accountable and responsible along with our staff. So next month, we should be bringing a draft policy for a first read for feedback. So if you have any questions between now and then, just let us know, and we can answer those questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Walker. That concludes the special presentation.
All right. Do we have a legal update this evening?
We do not, but we will need a special board meeting either next week or this week or next week, depending on the personnel. I'm waiting to hear from Mr. Richardson, but we will probably have that request out to you all tomorrow.
Communicate via email.
Yes, and to set that. Yes, sir. Duly noted.
All right. Facilities update. See you, Mr. Russ. Evening, sir.
For any questions you may have, I don't really have much of an update. We'll get the update on the construction, but.
I don't know. Why don't we get the Baldwin and Shell update and then we'll think about something we can ask you. Don't go anywhere just yet. Hello?
I'll be speaking on behalf of Kristen and Audrey tonight. So you have the sheets in front of you, we're just gonna go straight down. So for Bayou, in the cafeteria area, they're installing the metal wall panels on the exterior. The bathroom fixtures are being set, all of the tiling is complete. The work is about 90% complete. The mechanical, electrical, and plumbing is about 95% complete. For area 2, which is the offices, the media center, the fine arts center, they poured the footings for canopies, so those should be coming soon. The tiling is complete in that area. The millwork is also 95% complete. For the PE building, they have the acoustical panels installed, and the gym has been painted. For all of the wing areas, which are all the classrooms, the fixtures and millwork has been set in the bathrooms. All of the sinks are installed in the classrooms. and the doors, are also installed. For site work, as you know, the switchgear has been delayed, so right now they're working on temporary power. So the transformer has been set on Friday, so Bayou should have power within the next 2 weeks or so. So hopefully they'll have power up to their building. They've installed the handicap ramps. Their playground area is been poured. They're getting ready for the mechanical pads, and the wastewater road has been gravelled. So any questions on Bayou?
Has the parking lot been paved, it looks like?
Yes, sir, it has. I believe they are getting ready for striping. They may have already been done. It's done. Okay, yes. Well, then it's completed. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, moving on to Merle Taylor. Some of the kitchen equipment has been installed. The freezer has been installed. The kitchen hood has been installed. We're looking to install more equipment towards April. All of the stage framing has been completed. We have tile work complete on the stage. All of the tile work in area one has been complete. All of the first coats of paint. We are now working on our ceiling tiles, electrical overhead, and epoxy now that the temperature is pretty good. For area 2 and area 2B, same like Bayou, we have our acoustical panels installed. We're working on painting this month. We're also close to tile work being complete in area 2, and we're also doing a lot of overhead mechanical, electrical, plumbing work. For all of our wings, we have all of our units running, so the building is kind of conditioned in the wings. We're working on getting our condenser units set and tied in this month. We've also started epoxy in the wings. We're installing the casework. The tile should be completed in each of the wings this month, and we're still working on our storefront door installation. For site changes, we finally received the redesign for the water line and the civil changes. Right now, we're working on pricing. We've submitted those to the proper channels, so hopefully we should, start working on work this month with that. We're working on grading sidewalks between areas 3, 4, and 5, which are the wings. Our lift station is being installed, and we're also working on the string walls. Any questions on Merle Taylor?
We're still set to finish them on time.
Yes, we are still set. Good gosh,
I did it.
I'm so
That's
sorry.
sorry. It's my fault.
We're good. We're still tracking on schedule. We do have our gear delay, but we are working on a temporary solution so that way we can get the building turned over in time.
Very good.
Have some updates about the middle school demo and also the Legacy Walk monuments. The demo, they're simply just waiting on grass to grow. That's about it for the demo. And for the Legacy Walk monuments, our burnish block has been approved and released, and it's set to arrive April 4th. Our start date for that is April 8th. That's about a month-long project. Our renderings for all of the plaques have been approved, so we're just kind of waiting on the review process to go through so we can get started on that.
Something's happening on April 8th.
Yes. So we might not fully start for at least an hour, but we'll be started on April 8th.
Okay.
And that's all I have for Baldwin Show.
Yeah, make sure they wear their glasses. Welding glasses. Any questions for Baldwin Shell? Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate the update. Any questions for WER? Nobody thought of something to, Russ came all the way out for that. There's a question there, right? Yeah. Well, thank y'all very much. We appreciate you. Keep up the good work. Okay, Dr. Ola, district reports.
So we just have the superintendent's report today. In reference to or in line with the Legacy Walk update, I just wanted to remind everyone I need your nominations with your rubrics so that by the time in May when the Legacy Walk is completed, we can schedule the actual ceremony. So, but right now, the nominations are due. The alternate calendar for this year, the revised calendar, was approved by the Board of Education last week, so that's definitely a plus for us. The caveat to that is now that our students have, we have bank time because now we're basing it off 1,068 hours and not 178 days. That leaves our staff out there. And so wanted to propose something for you to think about on how we could actually have them make it up, but that gets kind of messy when you have classified who has to clock in and then versus licensed staff members who do not have to clock in. And so I talked to Mrs. Webb today. She researched the idea, and so what we would like to propose for you to either take action on today or allow me to put into action for next month is to grant all staff, licensed and classified, five additional personal days for the use of those inclement weather days in January, so that staff, both classified and licensed, would not have to come back and make that up. And so that would be our proposal. It's cleaner for us to do it that way with audit instead of trying to, because even if we try to make up during the school year, classified based on labor laws will have to get overtime for any time worked above the 8 hours. So we couldn't figure that out. And so we actually researched other districts, and a lot of them are doing different things. And so for us, it would be cleaner if we were able to do the, with board approval, the 5 additional personal days for all staff members to be only utilized for those inclement weather days.
And talk about that, I'd like to make a motion to accept Dr. Wood's recommendation on the additional personnel days, 5 additional personnel days in inclement weather or whatever, storms.
For the inclement weather days in January.
In January.
Yes.
Second. Did you do that?
All right, we have a motion and a second. Are there any other discussion, or is there any discussion or questions?
Can we not just override it altogether and be a?
Well, it's the problem comes for Tracy and I when we're sitting in front of the audit team and we paid staff and they haven't worked. And so it becomes a possible audit finding because we've remitted payment for work that hasn't been done. And so
If the board doesn't have the authority to override that, keep the payment in place, but override them having to use.
Just giving them free personal days is what we're doing, basically, right?
in place of those.
Is there not any problem with legislation or the education department finding fault with us just giving personal days?
You know, if it's just a decision, if we went a different route, we would have to go to the PPC, to change the calendars.
You don't think they'll have any problems with additional personal days?
No, there are other schools that have done that, maybe worded a little bit differently, but basically have done the same thing.
Okay. I don't think they'll have any problem with it either.
So they can only be used for those days.
Only for those inclement weather days in January.
They won't carry forward.
They will not carry forward. Only for those 5 inclement weather days in January of 2023.
So if they use the personal day that day anyway,
24.
already for,
Thank you.
nobody had a personal day scheduled for one of those days already before that happened?
Scheduled and didn't count, like we didn't put it in the system. If we messed up.
So they're getting real lucky. Okay. All right, so we've got a motion and a second. Any other questions or discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously.
Thank you. Next thing, project funding. I know I text most of you. But I want to give you an update. We were granted the $8.2 million for the Merle Taylor Elementary School in project funding. We have received to date and received $5.1 million of that 8.2. So we do have that in-house. So I want to give you an update on that. Children's Protection Center Phase 1 will be completed and opened April 1st for business. And so we'll continue to send you all, I think most of you received the updates, but we'll continue to share those with you all. But you have the opportunity to walk through, you will see that it's a major difference between that open space back there and what the Children's Protection Center would look like on April 1st. So we're proud of that partnership. That concludes my superintendent's report. I'll answer any questions if you have.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. I think we had one thing we talked about last month during this on the land. I did get the survey back this is for the
baseball field.
The baseball field's out in North Pulaski, a little over 5 acres, I believe. The title, they did a title search, everything is clean on that. We found that the taxes hadn't been paid, but they have since been paid. So we've got clean title and clear legal description. We do have the offer in hand, for the 35,000. Spoke with Dr. O a little bit and talked to Mr. Richardson in the past. My thought would be to put it on the market, list it. We can set a price tonight and just list it out there for 1 month and then come back, close it, see if there's any other additional offers. And then next month at the board meeting, we can review and accept or counter, decide how we want to proceed. Need a motion for that? I would say let's just list it at 10,000 an acre, whatever the exact acreage is. I don't have it in front of me, but let's just list it at 10,000 an acre. That way it's public. You know, the offer we have in hand is a pretty good offer, but I think we just need to list it out there and then see if there's any other interested parties, make it public, and then we can review all the offers and decide to counter one, accept one, whatever we want to do. Good. I mean, I don't think a motion would hurt.
So moved.
All right, I've got a motion in a second to list that property in the MLS for 1 month, and then we'll close it and review all offers at the next meeting. Any other questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, that passes unanimously. We'll get that handled.
I got a couple of comments. I think I talked to Dr. Orr about this, but I can't remember. Remember when I went to the December state board deal? One of the school districts, I was talking that long. One of the school districts started a program where they attended lunches at the different school board members. And I'd like to bring that up for consideration in the future. And it would take, I don't think there's any problem with more than 2 board members attending a lunch or anything, because I can't remember the school district was Fayetteville or Bentonville, one of the others.
Yeah, we'll just have to notify media, but we can, 2 or more board members meeting together, we'll just notify media. But North Little Rock does it, and their superintendent joins them.
Like once a month?
Once a month.
Just rotate.
This rotates good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can do it the day of board meeting.
I don't know about the day of board meeting.
That might cause a problem. All right,
Thank you.
that's a great idea. Thanks for sharing,
It
sir.
wasn't my idea, but
Hey,
if you find great ideas, you bring them up.
R&D, your boss and duplicate, man.
Yeah, that's it.
We could ask that AI thing to create a policy for us, too.
It can do that.
All right, next item I've got on the agenda is the consent agenda. There was the minutes of February 5th, the assistant superintendent's reports, also the financial report. Is there anything that needs to be pulled off for discussion? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve as presented in the packet.
No matter.
All those in favor? Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Next, we've got the FY25 salary schedule proposal.
So one of the projects or goals that you all tasked me with is to make sure that we're a competitive district. And when we started the district, it was no secret, we front loaded the salary schedule to attract newer teachers to the district. And so the goal has always been to make sure that we retain our more experienced staff members, because one, fiscally, it's cheaper and less, inexpensive, less costly to train our staff. Anytime we have new staff members, we have to have more professional development. And so it's really important academically, professionally, to keep and retain our staff. And so this salary schedule will honor our experienced staff. And so you will see that depending on the number of years you have in the district, there's a step increase or increment increases. And so the goal is to bring this to you for approval. Both our PPCs, I've met with the PPCs and gotten feedback from them. We've looked at the budget, and I will say that as we conclude the major building projects, that was definitely considered as well. And so I know it's 1.3 million, but as we, like I said, conclude those building projects, that frees up some money. I did tell the PPCs the goal is to continue to put money in the building fund for future projects or additions, but this 1.3 is a safe number for us to honor our experienced staff. And so the recommendation is to approve this proposed FY25 salary schedule as printed.
All right, we've got a recommendation. Are there any questions?
Motion to approve the superintendent's recommendation.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Do we have the money?
We do have the money, yes, sir.
That's all. Question.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Awesome. Number 7 on our agenda is the Kelly Services Contract Agreement.
Yes, as we sunset our contract with ESS, we would like to propose the use of Kelly Services. This is the service that we used when we first opened the district and had great success with this service. And so we would like to return back to them. And so the recommendation is to approve Kelly Services as our district substitute agency.
All right, we've got the recommendation. Are there any, first of all, is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions or discussion?
Why did we leave Kelly Services?
Well, we researched that, and from what we gathered, that was really not a reason. It was an abrupt. Let me just say, it happened during the transition between your superintendents.
Right. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that passes unanimously. 24-25 curriculum approval, 6 through 12 math adoption.
Yes, as the law states, we have to bring before you any curriculum adoption. And so we would like to present the 24-25 curriculum approval for your approval in the amount of $92,000. That includes teacher additions, student consumables, and digital resources, the text, the instructional material that our teachers and scholars will need. So the recommendation is to approve the 24-25 math adoption curriculum as presented.
Questions? Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve the superintendent's recommendation.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that passes unanimously. Next item is the 23-24 Library Media Specialist Challenge Policy.
As to be in line with the state law, we have before you the approval for the 23-24 Library Media Specialist Challenge Policy in accordance to Act 372, Section 4. And that section is right before you. So the recommendation is to approve this policy change.
Okay, questions?
I have one question here.
Let me make a motion.
Okay,
Motion to approve the superintendent's recommendation.
second.
Any discussion?
Okay. I see here where one of the words removal was, have a line through it. Was there a reason for not removing, just relocating or retention?
Dr. Walker.
On this policy, when it talks about removal, that means you're removing it completely from your library collection. But if you relocate it, it means that you're locating it, that book may not be appropriate for that age group level. So that's what it means when it was just say that they would, move it from that location.
Oh, okay.
That's the difference.
That'll work.
Yeah, the goal is, when we purchase any resources and supplies that we're purchasing with public funds. And so instead of just strictly or striking it from use completely, as Dr. Walker said, we would just relocate it where appropriate.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor. Any other questions or discussion? If not, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, that passes unanimously. Next item we've got are the legal transfer requests.
Yes, we have 2 requests before you. One for a scholar transferring out of Little Rock School District into Jacksonville North Pulaski School District. And then the second request is a scholar requesting transfer out of Jacksonville North P to Cabot School District. The recommendation is to approve both legal transfers as presented.
All right. Any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
We have 6 yeas and 1 nay. Is that correct? All right, that passes. Number 11 is the personnel, and I believe we have an addendum.
Make a motion to include the addendum, personnel addendum. That good enough, or do I need to say more?
That's it.
Yeah.
There it is. All right, I'll get a motion in a second to add the addendum to the personnel list. And all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that is added. So we've got personnel in 3 different areas here this evening on our agenda. Help me out, Dr. O.
The personnel hearing is actually not going to take place. That's a special board meeting that we're going to request. But you do have renewals before you actually have a few things. You have the addendum with the personnel report, and then in addition to that personnel report, the renewals for the district leaders and the licensed staff members.
So we gotta approve these separately, right? Or can we do?
You can actually approve the entire personnel packet unless there are questions.
Make a motion to approve the superintendent's recommendation for personnel, contract renewals, license contract renewals.
Second. All right, I've got a motion and a second. Any discussion on any specific person on personnel wanting to be held in executive session? I have a question for the general here. So district leaders, contract renewal, are those on here? Okay. I got you.
That's the long list.
I got you. All right, that's what I was looking for. Okay. My question's been answered. Anybody else got anything not related to a personnel person? All those in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. All right, does that conclude personnel?
It does.
All right, we've got student disciplinary actions on the agenda tonight. I believe we have 7 that are uncontested. Is that correct? 10 uncontested and 3 contested. Is that right?
Mr. Smith?
All right, that's in our drive here. Let's see if we can pull those up. Let's handle the uncontesteds first if we can. Let's make sure we got the
All right,
right one.
well, let's.
normally these don't have, they're normally redacted. How many of these are there? Because some of these are the contested. Okay, so those are the numbers, those match those, okay. So the other ones, there's 12 there. 12 total, minus the 3, 9. 9, okay. These are the 3 contested. Well, they don't show up, they don't. What's the line below? All right, I think we have 12 before us, 3 contested. Those packets are printed out, or are those printed out for me? Okay, so I can read, right? Okay, I got you. So 3-12, 3-3, and 3-9 are all contested. The other ones are uncontested. So I would entertain a motion on the 9 that are not contested.
So moved.
All right, I've got a motion and a second to uphold the superintendent's recommendations on each of the 9 uncontested expulsions. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, those pass unanimously. So the first hearing I've got is for, pardon me if I mess up any name.
We need to take a break before we start.
Do we need a comfort break? Is that what you're saying? All right, before we start the contested hearings, we're gonna take a short, comfort break. So we'll start at, I got 6:51. We'll start at, 7 o'clock on the dot. That work?
That'll work.
All right, comfort break.
Oh, people have to go. Oh, people have to go. Yeah, glad he's not old.
So if you are not, please exit the meeting now.